All right, we should be up and live. Let me just double check. Boom, boom. All right, we'll let a couple people get in here real quick. I'm gonna change the bio real quick, Dave.
Hey, did you see my deal where I said to use the hashtags?
Yeah, there's already hashtags on it.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah.
We got Scotty Boy on. What's up, Scott?
What's up, Scott? Let me see. Do. I'm just for those that are tuning in, I'm just getting the title up for the video here on YouTube, and then we'll get it started.
Maybe next year, Scott, on the PCB if we do that one. Unless we go somewhere else, man.
Hey, I'm thinking a cruise. I'm thinking a cruise for our draft next year.
Oh, we could get a short cruise cheap.
That's what I'm thinking. Cheap. Let me double check here. Make sure we're getting these games right. Scotty boy, Scotty's in the house. All right, USC, Stanford.
We got Public House too. Woot woot.
What's up,
there's my boy.
There's your mini-me.
Mini-me, Jared Guerin. Public House in the house.
Oh yeah, straight government name. I love it. Give it social. Jared, throw it in the chat for the people. Plug this in.
We'll get cranking in just a minute, folks.
Yeah, I'm just
Mike's
in the,
trying to get
the
stirring
title
some
really
brew
fast.
back there.
Sorry, y'all. Going as quickly as I can.
Well, we do want to remind everybody to subscribe.
I love it, Dave.
Get ripped, right? That's number one. So you get reminded when we come on, right?
That's right, Dave.
That's the first thing. And of course, we want to tell everybody to like us as well. So even if you don't, give us a like. So we have Steel City on too.
That's basically what Dave just said.
Steel City in the house. Welcome aboard, sir.
All right, that's good enough for now. I'll fix it. I'll fix it here later.
That's what happens when we're rushing after working all day trying to get this stuff done. But we'll make it happen.
That's right. All right, sir. What's up?
What's up? What's up, Get Rip fans and college football fans? We are in week 2. And, Gator Dave feels much better about life now.
Oh.
After he got through and saw his team play respectable in the swamp. I told you guys last week, I just didn't know what to expect. And I'm still not expecting too much just yet. But, feeling good about beating number 7 in the nation. So ready to lead into week 2 and enjoy things. Couple of pointers from last week. Oh my God, LSU. Oh, did that team look horrible or what?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
That was ugly. That was ugly.
It was pretty bad.
That was scary ugly. So rough game for the Tigers. So last week we were doing some calculations and You know, when I thought I was 8-6, Mike said I was a little bit worse than that, but I'm going with 8-6 with a typo on the sheet there, so not too bad. Couple of big winners from last week. Obviously, Georgia just flat devastating Oregon here in the Dome. What a win for Georgia. And I believe I told you guys last week that Stetson Bennett was going to be for real. Stetson Bennett was going to be improved. And sure enough, he definitely showed that against Oregon. So we definitely nailed that one. Of course, I didn't bet against. I bet against my Gators, but you know,
that's why they won, Dave. That's exactly why they won.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Well, this week might be a little different, so we'll see how that turns out. So, big win for your Miami Hurricanes, just dogging out their competition. So they got a good warm up. You know,
that's what we
and
do.
Now they're ready for week 2 as well. So shall we get rolling?
Yeah, no, hold on. So before we do, I'm going to pull up last week's recap because I don't want you spreading lies to the people here. Let's go ahead and see what we're dealing with. Let me drop us off. So this is last week's recap. We did not do well last week, as you can see. Gator Dave did do better than me. The game that he is referring to is the North Carolina -3. On his sheet, he says that he had him at -1.5.
Right.
When we did the show, it was -3, so that was the spread that was put on. In reality, it probably at -3 would have been a money line play for him anyway. So we'll give him 7-5. We'll give him 7-5.
But Mike, do we have the Oregon State game?
No, we didn't have the surprise games on there. Those are surprise games. You're just see those you just pulling out of your ass. You're not getting those counted because when they come back to bite you, you know, later on in the year, I don't want to hear, you know, I don't want to hear both sides of it.
Gator Day was 8-6.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so that's what we're looking at. I was a whopping. How bad is that? That's 4-7-1. I had that push with Illinois, and then you were 7-5, not including the surprise games that I.
Yeah, which would have been 8-6, but that's okay. Sorry.
You know, that's the way. That's the way the cookie crumbles, Dave.
You made me sweat and come up with an answer, so I at least got to get credit for them. So.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe this week.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I got a couple for you this week. I'm ready to hear you. I'm ready to hear what you got to say about it.
I had a little extra because we did the show twice, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, hey, can everybody hear us? Let's just check this right now. Can everybody hear us in the chat? Because last week when we did our recording, it wasn't live. We had to redo the entire video again. So we just want to make sure everybody can hear us out there. Let us know in the chat. What up, public? What up, Steel City? What up, Scott? We see you guys. And then we'll get started.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, cool. Right on. So first game we're going to talk about here, Dave, we're going to get into it. It's going to be Louisville, USC, sir. It's the Friday night game. It is at UCF. Louisville UCF, I apologize. Louisville UCF is down at UCF in Orlando. Friday night game. It's going to be humid. It's going to be sticky. Louisville just got blown out in Syracuse, 31-7. We were both on Louisville pretty heavy, and they absolutely shit the bed. They were moving the ball. They played well, but they just had terrible turnovers at terrible times. They got stopped on 4th down, like on the goal line a couple times. It was just a really bad game. So they're looking to bounce back here. UCF blew out their competition. Gus Malzahn looks like he has them ready to rock and roll once again. John Reese Plumlee looked good at quarterback. Dave, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, let's see. So last year, Louisville won 42-35, right? The Cards, like you said, they looked awful. Just flat horrible. They couldn't get it in the end zone. Louisville has they've got issues running the ball. I mean, it was just a gamut of things against what you and I both thought was just a weak Syracuse team. Now UCF's got a new quarterback. I know he played wide receiver, John Rice Plumlee, but he is a running quarterback. Had 308 yards, 4 TDs, and this is Gus Malzahn, right? So he's trying to make things happen there in UCF. They got some weapons. Cunningham turned the ball over in the red zone like 2 or 3 times, but you would figure a 10-year quarterback like that's going to bounce back. Louisville did have 3 total turnovers in the game. UCF has a pretty decent secondary. I think they're going to score a lot of points because, Louisville gave up like 5 yards per carry on the ground, and UCF's going to throw the ball, and UCF's going to run the ball with Plumlee. And UCF plays well at home. They call it the bounce house down there in Orlando. So I'm gonna say take UCF in the points here, Mike.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's the side that I'm on. I just think they're going to be too much offensively. I liked what they did last week. I think that Louisville is going to come in, a lot better than last week. I think they're going to have sort of a fire lit under him. I think that coaching staff's going to get underneath him. I think this last week of practice was probably pretty rough for him. And Malik Cunningham's probably going to put it on his back. I see a lot of points here. I don't know what the total. So the total's 61.5.
Yep.
That actually might be the play. I was initially. I'm on UCF. That's the team that we have on our recap at the end of the show. That's the team that'll be on the graphic. But I think the over 61.5 is probably the play. Louisville's going to do a lot better than 7 points. Like you said, he had 3 red zone turnovers. You take that out of the game, and they don't turn the ball over as much, giving Syracuse that good a field position. They had more turnovers than just those 3. You take those out of the game, or you even them out a little bit, it's a lot better of a game. UCF is going to score. I think Louisville will also. I'd probably go on the over there. But again, UCF will be on the graphic, so take it as you will.
There we go.
All right, for our next one, we are going to Gator Dave's alma mater. The Memphis Tigers are facing the Navy Midshipmen at Navy. It's Navy's second straight home game. They got absolutely embarrassed last week. They lost to Delaware at home, 14-7. It was not a good game. I think their lead running back had like 40 yards. It's all bad right now for Navy. I'm going to be on Dave's alma mater, the Memphis Tigers, -5.5. I think they blow them out of the water. I don't think it's close. I'd have to say I'm going to take Gator Dave's slogan here. This is a Miami Mike lock of the week. And I'm going with the Memphis Tigers here. Gator Dave, what say you?
I like where you're going, Mike. I like where you're going. Memphis did lose to Mississippi State 49-23 in a weather-delayed game. They didn't even start. I think we were listening to that game on the way back home from Gainesville, and they didn't even start scoring until the third quarter. So they had a rough day. However, like you said, Navy lost to Delaware 14-7. They can't throw the ball. And this running Navy team, 2.9 yards per carry. They've got 3 new offensive line starters. Bottom line, they had issues scoring last year. They're having issues scoring this year already. Their defense was ranked in the hundreds. Memphis returns their starting quarterback, Hennigan. They added a good running back from Northern Illinois. They returned their wide receivers. And, the one thing, Memphis held Mississippi State to under 3 yards per carry. So they had a pretty good rushing defense. So I'm with Mike. This game is not even going to be close, and it is going to be Memphis big, go Tigers go, and a Gator Dave lock. So we've got a double lock on this one, Mike.
I love it. I'm gonna have to add the locks moving forward. You're gonna have to give me these locks ahead of time. I can throw it on the graphic for us when we get to the end here. Next game, yeah, definitely. The next game we got here is gonna be Iowa State. Another team that just looked absolutely abysmal last week is a team that I picked to win 10 games this year and win the Big Ten West, and they couldn't even score a touchdown against South Dakota State at home. They won 7-3 because of 2 second-half safeties, one in the third, one in the fourth. I don't really have anything good to say about Iowa. I actually watched that game with an Iowa fan towards the end, and neither did he. I just don't see how Iowa's going to put up points here. Iowa State, I think, is the play, but I'm on the under. I'm going to take Iowa State and Iowa under 41. I think it's just going to be a defensive battle, and that's the side that I'm on. I think it's just going to be ugly. I will not watch this game. I can tell you right now.
Oh, there's no way. It'd be like painful.
Absolutely not.
You know, I mean, Iowa's offense, like you said, didn't score. But they only allowed 3 points, you know, on the defensive side.
Defense looked good.
Rah-rah on defense, right?
Yep.
The team got booed at home. You know, that's pretty rough. Iowa State gave up 4.5 yards per carry. So that makes me think maybe can Iowa run the ball? Last year, Iowa State lost by 10.
Yep.
And interesting fact, the quarterback rating for the Iowa quarterback 1.1. Horrible.
And he's like a 7th-year senior this year too.
Yeah. But let me straighten a few things out.
Shout out COVID.
Everybody has
Don't take us off YouTube.
Rough week. Iowa has won 5 straight games in this series. They've got a good coach. Where are we on the line, Mike? I had 3.5. What are you seeing?
I had it Iowa State at 4. Let me check what it is right now. Yeah, so it's Iowa -4 right now.
Iowa -4. So I will buy a point downward and take Iowa in 3 points. Is where I'm going to go.
I hear you. I'm gonna go on the under here, but I think, I mean, I hope so. I need Iowa to start performing for my preseason predictions.
Purdue's
So
just gonna slam if Iowa can't do anything.
Yeah, Purdue. Don't get me started on Purdue. All right, so let's move on now. USC Stanford. We're gonna move to the Pac-12 here. Tell me who you like in this one.
So Stanford won this game last year. Okay.
Yes, they did.
It was one of Stanford's 3 big wins. USC defense had 3 TDs last week, so the defense showing something, and they weren't supposed to be anything. Stanford is healthier this year.
That's right. They shut Rice down.
Yeah. USC allowed 2 70-yard drives against Rice, which is a little concerning, right, for USC. But USC has the capacity to score a lot of points. We know what they've got with all the transfers in and the quarterback, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
Both quarterbacks are capable. Stanford's defense, not good. Their defensive line is very small. They don't have any big boys up front. Lincoln Riley likes to push. They like to score points. Mike, what do you have as the line here?
Currently, I have the line at +8 for Stanford, -8 for USC.
That's what I've got. I'm going to say in this situation, buy a point and go down to 7. USC and 7 points is the safe bet here, sir.
All right. I am on the other side, so we got a showdown here. I am going to be on Stanford. I like them +8. I think at home, it's going to be a night game. Well, sort of. I think the local kickoff, it's like 4:30, something like that. So it'll be night by the time the game's over. I don't know. There's something about these rivalry games, especially early. New coaching staff, they feel really good about beating the shit out of Rice last week. Stanford, nobody's really giving them, a lot of hype or anything. I also want to point out, I don't know if you know this, but they have a freshman on that team at Stanford who's the son of quite the Florida Gator.
Yeah.
So I think that I just think Stanford's going to come to play. I think they're going to compete. I don't know if they win, but I think they're able to cover that 8 at home and get that cover.
All right. So we got ourselves the first showdown of the night.
That's right.
Perfect.
All right. Next one we're going to get into is another team that you're pretty high on. The Baylor Bears are going to visit.
Showdown coming here.
Are going to visit the BYU Cougars out in Utah.
Yes, sir.
You know it's going to be a showdown, Dave. You know who I'm on. I know who you're on. I knew what it was going to be as soon as you put this game on the list. I already knew where you were going with it. I am on BYU. I think BYU is going to make a statement here. At home, take a money line. BYU.
So you say take a money line.
That's right, money line.
Okay, and what do you have them getting? What points do you have them getting?
I'm pretty sure it's 3. Yeah, it's 3.
Okay, so you're going money line.
I'm going money line. I think it's going to be a close game. I see 31-30, 21-20, something like that. Something close. But I think BYU pulls it out. 28-27, somewhere along those lines.
Well, if you watch the preview show, Gator Dave is high on a Baylor.
Way too high.
Had a great 2021 season, won the Big 12. I'm projecting they win the Big 12 again. I don't care what my friends in Oklahoma do. But BYU gets overlooked a lot. They're the stepchild. Baylor did score 59 against Albany. That's not much anything. BYU won 50-21 over UCF. Both teams last week racked up over 600 yards. Baylor's heavy on the pass. BYU's heavy on the run. This is going to be an awesome game. The Cougars are definitely a legitimate dark horse team to be that Cincinnati next year. I'm definitely with you there, Mike, on the possibilities. I think it's going to be important for Baylor to get a quick start because they're not playing at home. They're playing on the road. that crowd's going to be gassed up and ready to go. Jaron Hall, QB for BYU, legit quarterback. Chris Brooks, running back, put up 135 yards last week.
Mm-hmm.
See, Mike,
keep going, keep going, Dave. Keep going. It sounds good. It makes more sense as you're going, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, Mike. Oh my gosh. But Baylor's defensive line is the difference maker in this game. I'm sticking with my Baylor Bears, and I'll take those 3 points and go with Baylor.
Bold. We got another showdown. We'll see what happens. We do at
that, my friend.
All right, next game we are switching. We're going to the ACC, Dave's favorite conference in the entire land. We are going to, actually, it's like ACC, SEC in this one, so
yeah,
we got the best of both worlds. Wake Forest is going to be at Vanderbilt. Wake Forest is a -13 favorite. They're getting Sam Hartman back at quarterback after he's missed the first couple games with some blood clot issues, I guess was the rumor. Nothing was really ever confirmed or anything like that. But that was the rumor. He's back now. He's been cleared. How much he plays is kind of left to be determined. I think that he's going to start. I think he's going to perform just like he hasn't missed a beat. And I think Wake Forest is going to absolutely wax Vanderbilt on their home field. I think it's going to be something like 48-24 kind of deal. So, I mean, not a total beat down. I think Vandy will score a little bit. I think Wake handles them pretty well. What do you think?
But Mike, Vanderbilt is 2-0, dude.
That's right. They blew out Hawaii.
Doors are 2-0
They-
against Hawaii and Elon. Where's
Did
Elon?
you see that Elon game, by the way? Because I ended up betting Vandy. I ended up throwing some money on them, like right at the last second on some real degenerate shit. And I ended up getting them at, I think, minus 18.5. So, of course, I lost by the half-point kicker because in the second half, they wanted Elon to just fucking make a comeback. They were beating them by 30, and all of a sudden the game was like a 10-point game. So that was fun. That was fun to experience.
They're good, though. They're good. Vanderbilt's good this year, guys. 2-0, number one in the SEC. Sam Hartman back. The line jumped 5.5 points because it jumped another damn point since yesterday when I looked at it.
Yep.
So it jumped 5.5 points with Hartman coming back. Wake's got 2 good running backs.
Stud wide receiver.
Listen to this. Vandy was outgained by Elon, which, again, where's that?
It's in I don't know. It's in the South somewhere, isn't it? It's like one of the Carolinas or Virginia or Tennessee. It's somewhere around this month.
495 to 424. Their defense sucks. Okay, Wake's gonna score a lot of points. The quarterback for Vandy, the Mike Wright guy, he's kind of exciting. He's gonna make. It's better than watching paint dry as of old with Vandy. So,
agreed.
It's okay. They had 14 plays or 20 more yards, and they played tempo. So, it's definitely not like a snoozer.
Right.
But the Deacons rally around Hartman and cover like no tomorrow. I got Wake Forest big time.
Yep, I agree. Next game we're going to talk about is my Canes. Week 2. What's up, Don Play? How you doing, man? Navoski, we see you. What's up, buddy? We're going to talk about the Canes next year. We're going to wrap up the ACC. Miami is hosting Southern Miss and Frank Gore Jr. In Coral Gables this week. It's a 12 o'clock game. The heat index is supposed to be like 111, 112. So it's going to be hot. Southern Miss wears those black helmets, so they will be affected. I like the over here. Miami's favored right now at 25. I could definitely see it. I mean, we should beat them by that. But last week against Bethune, our defense looked a little suspect in certain spots, a little bit of open doors, a little bit of big plays. I think that opens it up for Southern Miss to score a little bit. I'm on the over here. The over is actually only 51. Miami put up 70 last week on their own. Southern Miss put up 20, I believe it was 27 against Liberty. So I think they'll put up at least double digits against us, and I think we're going to put up at least 40. I like the over here. That's my play. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, so 10 and 40, that's 30. So my bet makes sense, right? So Southern Miss. So they have Frank Gore, who is guy's a running back playing quarterback. So it's one of those situations where you got the Wildcat pretty much most of the game.
Yeah, did you see he threw the most passes on the team?
What?
Did you see he also threw the most passes on the team? He had like 32 carries, but he also threw the most passes.
Five passes in the game.
Crazy.
4 overtimes. So you got to think about that in terms of the scores. So I'm taking that into account on my bet here.
Mm-hmm.
Heartbreaker to the Big Liberty. And they couldn't stop their offense. So I don't doubt, and I feel pretty good that Miami is. I think Miami's going to put up 40 easy, if not more, if not 50.
Yep.
A lot of new defensive players for University of Miami, but Knighton and Parrish. I mean, god dang, they can run the ball. UM had 586 yards. Defense had 3 interceptions. I mean, there's just too much talent. And I think Cristobal's, he's out to try to compete with the Gators. And since he plays that strong schedule, he's going to have to really kind of keep his foot on the gas. Therefore, I'm going to take Miami in those 25 points, Mike. I feel pretty good about it.
I would just like to point out in the current recruiting rankings, the
You're only
Hurricanes,
up by one, buddy.
the Hurricanes are ahead of
By
the
one.
the
Number
guys
9
up
and
in
number
North
10.
Florida
We'll see
that
where
love
it
to
is
wear
at the end of the
jorts.
year.
Anywho, I will say, Dave, before we move on from this game, I watched that Bethune game. I know it's Bethune, but I absolutely loved the push that our offensive line got. I mean, every time we ran the ball, it was basically 7 yards every single time. Parrish is an absolute stud. Can't wait to see what he does this year. Super excited. We'll see what they do next week against Texas A&M. College game day is going to be there also. It's a night game. Super excited for that, but we got to get past Southern Miss first, so we'll see. All right, to the SEC. To wrap it up, we got 5 SEC games to go over, and then I'm going to throw a surprise one at you. And then we're done with week 2, sir, and it's on to week 3. First game we're going to discuss is going to be Missouri at Kansas State. Kansas State is an 8-point favorite currently. Actually, it may be 9. Let me double check. Yes, Kansas State is a 9-point favorite at the moment. It's a 12 o'clock game Eastern time, so it'll be like a 10 a.m. 11 a.m. kickoff, I guess, in Manhattan for Kansas State and Missouri. But Missouri is used to that. They're in Central Time. What are your thoughts here, Dave? Are you riding the SEC train, or are you thinking the Wildcats cover at home?
Well, here's the deal. Mizzou's 1-6 against the spread in the last 7 games. Tigers ran the ball well last week, 6.5 yards per carry. Kansas has a really good pass defense, 3 studs on the D-line. The front 7 is good for Kansas State, but the DBs are a little green.
Right.
Good shot for the Tigers to prove something in an away game against a decent team.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri gave up 3 plays of 30 or more, 2 plays of 60 or more against La Tech.
Mm.
So I think that defense is going to be tough. I think there's chance in this game to see a lot of explosive plays. And with what's going on both sides of the defensive side of the ball and it being 57 points, my play here is going to be the over.
The over. Okay. Right on. I can respect that. I'm going to go with Mizzou plus 8. I'm going to go Mizzou plus 8. Well, I guess it's Mizzou plus 9, isn't it? So I may even buy them up to plus 10 now that I think about it. I'll take them up from 9 to 10. But I'll take Mizzou in the points. I think they are going to be able to big body Kansas State enough. Kansas State's quarterback is still Adrian Martinez. I'm not sold on this guy yet. I thought a change of scenery might do him some good, getting out of Nebraska, but I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen enough yet to really put my money behind him. So I'm following the SEC here. I like 10 points for SEC. I think Missouri covers. I think Kansas State could definitely win, but I'm going to take Missouri in the points here. Next one we're going to discuss is a big one of the week. A lot of eyes will be on it. Game day is going to be there tomorrow. It's going to be Alabama minus 20 at Texas in Austin. I am not a huge fan of this game either way. I think Sarkisian's going to have his guys ready to go. Texas has some hogs on the offensive line. They'll be able to compete with Alabama's pass rush in their front 7. My play is going to be Alabama first half. They are on a ridiculous record. I couldn't find it anywhere online. I tried to get the exact number for the show. Couldn't find it, but I mean, it's something like the last 2-3 years. I think they're undefeated in the first half against the spread. I mean, it's nuts. Right now, their first half is minus 11.5. I think that's easily doable for them. So that's where I'm at in this game, is Alabama minus 11.5 for the first half.
Mike, I've got that in my notes. Take Alabama against the spread in the first half. I think that's a great play, and I would wholeheartedly agree that that's a lock. If somebody wants to look at a lock, I think Bama in the first half is a lock to cover that spread. Texas is 5-2 against the spread at home. Defense for Bama, unbelievable. But they didn't have a sack against Utah State.
Interesting.
Could be one of those teams that dumps it, a lot, but they didn't have a sack. Texas is going to be run heavy. They got a great running back. Ewers at quarterback for Texas. I think it's going to be deer in the headlights. I mean, it won't be as bad as the FSU-LSU game, but I think it's going to be quite close. I think they're going to be up his butt the whole game. Texas also has an inexperienced secondary. I just don't think the Texas offense is going to have enough on this one. So, I like to play for the guarantee of Bama first half spread. I think I'll be conservative and go with that one too, since that's what I had before, Mike. I know I said Bama in the 20, but
now you're messing up the graphic, Dave. So
I'm sorry, Mike.
Come on,
sorry,
man.
Sir.
Come on.
I can talk for a while you change the graphic. I promise.
All right.
You just give me time. And
you remind me, and I'll make it happen for you. Otherwise, you're going in as -20, brother.
I had that in the notes, and
I bet you did. I bet you did. All right, next one we're going to discuss here is going to be South Carolina at Arkansas. The current line is Arkansas -9. 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff. What do you think, Dave? Are the Mayo Bowl reigning champ Gamecocks going to go into Woo Pig Suey country against KJ 6'7" ass at quarterback? Are they going to be able to get it done?
So Arkansas covered 6.5 spread against Cincy.
Yep.
The expectations have been raised really for both teams. I mean, Arkansas is picked to come in as high as second in the West. The Gamecocks have Spencer Rattler, from the godsend, right? But South Carolina gave up 200 yards to Georgia State on the ground. Rattler had 2 picks against Georgia State. He really didn't pick up any yards. South Carolina only 79 yards rushing. Got sacked by Georgia State. South Carolina D-line got pushed around. They look bad, man. I mean, I think they're a lot of freaking hot air. I'll be honest with you. The coach is a freaking used car salesman. It's the guy.
Shane Beamer.
The son. Beamer. Yeah.
Yep.
They do have Marshawn Lloyd, who's a great running back, but I'll be honest with you. Rattler got benched and ditched for a reason, and he comes in and he starts throwing interceptions against Georgia State. I mean, that's horrible. I mean, Jefferson had a good game passing and running. 20 carries for their running back, Rocket Sanders. They got some names. Listen to this. 20 carries for 117 yards for Rocket Sanders. And their leading tackler, you know what his name is, Mike? Bumper Pool. Bumper Pool was the leading tackler.
That was the deciding factor
Arkansas.
for you, huh?
Yeah. So Arkansas converted 50% of their third downs. They are going to cover the 9.5. I mean, I think this game will be 14. I won't call it a lock, but I feel very safe in saying that my boy Don Play, whose daughter graduated from University of Arkansas, is going to be happy after this game, and they'll take care of business.
Right on. Yeah, I'm with you. I got Arkansas. I think they're going to get it done at home. I really don't think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be something, like 31-13. I think it's going to be pretty rough for South Carolina and Spencer Rattler. I think I think you're right. I think he did lose his starting job for a reason. He did sort of get pushed out of Oklahoma for a reason. And I could easily see him, throwing another 2, 3, maybe even 4 picks in this game. And Arkansas is able to just sort of manhandle him and get it done. South Carolina, I mean, I think that they could be good in a couple years, but they need a lot of help in the next couple recruiting classes to really get some good talent in there. And they could do it.
They do have some good players coming in if Florida doesn't pick them off. I mean,
this guy.
Their top defensive lineman, he's a high 4-star, but he's leaning Gator right now, so that could happen. But I'm telling you, Beamer is a used car salesman. That's my opinion.
I hear you on that. I hear you. All right. Next game we're going to talk about, we have this one and then one more in the SEC, and then we're going to get the surprise game, and we'll post the recap of everything that we've talked about up here on the screen for everybody to take a screenshot of or whatever you need to do. Next one we're going to talk about is Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Gator Dave, this is going to be a good one this week. I think it's going to be a highly competitive one.
I think this is going to be probably the most exciting game of the weekend, in my opinion.
Okay.
Once we get to what I tell you about the Gators, but Tennessee coming into Pittsburgh, 2-2 on the road against the spread in the last 4 games. They're playing up tempo. Tennessee's downfalls, the secondary's not so good. Hayden Hooker, a lot of people are talking about him being possible Heisman guy. There's a lot of expectations for him. Pittsburgh's 2-2 against the spread in the last 4 games. So again, we're kind of level there. Pittsburgh's going to try to run the ball, which, the coach wants to do that. The offensive coordinator got pushed out because he wanted to throw the ball too much, but
shout out Mark
coach
Whipple,
wants to run the ball. So I don't know, man. Pittsburgh allowed 47% on third downs against West Virginia. They looked okay. Slovis looked. I would bet a little better than you thought he was going to look.
He did. He looked good. I was shocked. He outplayed JT Daniels.
Yeah, he was respectable. You know, but the defense wasn't near what I thought the Pittsburgh defense was going to be.
Right.
They gave up 5.6 yards per carry, 8 plays of 20 yards or more. I think this thing is. I think Tennessee's offense is going to be too much for the defense, and I'm going to say that they. I've got 6.5 as a spread, so I think they win by a touchdown. So I'm gonna go with the Vols and my nephew, who is Chase Guerin, who's in veterinary school up there at UT. I'll go with him this week. Definitely in a few weeks, it ain't going that way, but I'll take the Vols.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got it also at 6.5. I think Tennessee gets it done. The only thing that I want to point out that may be a slip-up for them is if they're looking ahead to next week when they host the team that we're going to be talking about next, your Florida Gators at home. That it could be a little bit of a look ahead of game, and they better not look ahead of Pittsburgh, otherwise they'll catch one.
This is going to be a tough game. Again, I think it'll be the most entertaining, fun game. What time is this game, Mike? Is it the same time as
I think
Gators?
I want to say it's pretty early. Yeah, it's at 3:30 Eastern.
Okay, cool. So that's a game a tailgate watch down there in the swamp.
Yeah, you're going down there this week, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and lead right into that one. So, Kentucky is at Florida. Florida is favored. I had them at 6.5. It's down to 6 right now. Man,
I had 5.5. Oh man, that might change my mind, Mike.
Well, you can get them down. I mean,
dude, if it's 8, I'll take them. So let's roll into this, buddy.
Well, go get after it. What do you got?
Oh, Florida.
Tell me about the squad that you've wanted to talk about for the last week and a half.
All night long. You can change the graphic now because I can be yakking.
All right, yeah, that's a good call.
So Florida, big win over number 7 Utah last week. Again, I was a little leery about the Gators going into the game, and I'm still not 100% confident where they are right now. We got a long way to go. We sucked last year. We were in that rebuild right now, but I thought that the Gators showed a lot of poise. They played pretty well against that team. Anthony Richardson looked great running the ball. He was very conservative on his passes. No major deep shots down the field. But we kind of took what they gave us, right? And it was enough to be respectable. He threw for 183 yards, 107 on the ground with 70% completion rate, which is pretty good. Florida's defense played well the first half. And one of the things we talked about last week, I told you guys that Florida's light on that D-line. And, Gervin Dexter, who's our number 1 defensive lineman, played like 90% of the snaps on that D-line, and that is just way too much. So being thin on the D-line is a serious concern. The hope is that the young guys step up, but it's just hard to say. Kentucky had the big win, but they did have a lot of trouble running the ball. 55 yards rushing last week. They have 5 scholarship running backs at Kentucky. 3 of those 5, including their number 1 running back, Rodriguez, will not play. So their number 1 guy, Mr. Smoke, will be the key player, and then behind him is a freshman, and after that, it's I think the third guy is
probably a wide receiver.
Yeah, I thought he was a linebacker. Maybe you might be right, but he's not. He's not a running back. So they're gonna. I think they're gonna, which is good for Florida, right? If our D line had troubles and they can't, run the ball, then we kind of relax somewhat and not worry as much about that second half.
Right.
Now, Will Levis, very capable quarterback. A lot of people are saying he's going to be, a first-round draft quarterback. We'll see what he does this week because I really think a lot is going to rely on him and rest on his shoulders in this game because of the running back issues that they're having right now. He's got to run the ball and he's got to throw the ball well. And if he tries to throw the ball down the field, my projection here is we can hold him and he throws the ball down the field that he has at least 2 interceptions. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Florida's D-line again, they played okay. In this particular game, I am going to say that 6 points is safe and we win between 7 and 10 points. I'm not going to say 100% on this one, but I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Just due to the fact that they're having so much trouble running the ball. So, but it's still our second game. I've got Gator lock down here, but I don't know if it's a lock. I feel good about it. Let's put it that way.
I got you.
And at 6 points.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good about it as well. The only thing, again, is if you guys, sort of started looking ahead to that game next week in Knoxville. And
Hey, Mike, that game, we're playing USF. It's 2 weeks, bro.
Oh, so you get 2 weeks. Okay, well, that's good.
2 weeks.
So you get a cushion then. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we do. We got a cushion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Florida this game, -6. I think that's the play. You guys historically own Kentucky. I mean, it's been a little bit recent here in the last couple years, but that's only because, y'all been down on that little downswing. They've been able to have a couple decent recruiting classes that they were able to develop and some transfers to come in, like their quarterback, Levis. I think y'all are going to be able to handle him pretty well. I think this is a Heisman-type game for Anthony Richardson to really put people on blast as to what he's capable of this year. I mean, I could see him putting up, 3-4 touchdowns and maybe 1 or 2 on the ground. I mean, I think it's going to be that sort of game. And I think y'all handle Kentucky here pretty significantly. So I'm with you. I'm on the Gators, unfortunately.
Mike, we had a lot of games that we agreed upon this week.
We did. It's the majority.
We only have 2 showdown games, but so.
Yep.
But that's good. That's
Alabama
good for our audience, knowing that if you look back and the games that we both picked last year, they were pretty damn sure bets.
They were pretty good. They were pretty good. So, we went 500 last week, so we gotta shape up this week. We gotta get it better.
Well, we will, because we got, I know we'll do well this week. So.
Yep.
No,
well, let's throw up the recap really quick, and then we can come back and finish with any notes if we want. Let's just make sure we have everything correct for Gator Dave. He likes to change his picks on me. We want to just make sure we have everything correct this time. So, we both have UCF at -5.5 against Louisville tomorrow night. We both are on Memphis -6 against Navy. Gator Dave is on Iowa -3, and I am on the under Iowa State. Gator Dave is on USC and the Fighting Trojans on the road against Stanford. I got Stanford at home +8. Gator Dave loved his Baylor Bears. He's got them +3 on the road at BYU. I got BYU money line. This one we're in agreement on. We got Wake Forest -13. Next one is the Miami game, the one I will be paying most attention to, at least in the morning. Gator Dave thinks we're going to cover that 25. I think so too. I think it's just a little sketchy with that heat index being where it is, but I like the over to be covered for sure of 51. I think that's easy money. Next game, we're going to SEC, Kansas State and Missouri. Gator Dave is on the over 56. I got Mizzou +10. And then the next 4, Dave, we agree on, believe it or not.
Wow, the SEC, yeah.
We actually believe and agree on these next 4. So we got Alabama first half -11.5. Arkansas -6.5. Alabama's playing Texas, by the way. Arkansas -6.5 at home against South Carolina. Tennessee -6.5 on the road against Pitt. And then we also are finishing with Florida -6 at home in the Swamp, which Gator Dave will be in attendance for.
Arkansas, can you double check? I'd like to take 6.5, but
yes.
Is Arkansas favored by 6.5, or is it higher?
Arkansas is at.
Double check that.
You know what, Gator Dave? For you, I will. Arkansas right now is at -9. It was at -7.5. So I'd probably take them down to 7. If you can't get 6.5, I mean, I'd get them at 7, but I'll probably try to buy them still at 6.5. I think that's 7 or below, or I think is where you want to be in that one.
Yeah.
I do think they handle them, but just cover your ass, people.
Yep. It doesn't cost much to buy down a bit.
So that's this week. Those are our picks. There's the recap. Dave, you're back on the screen. Your lovely face. Anything you want to say to the people to round out week 2 before we head into the weekend?
Do you have a game you want to curveball me with there, brother?
He's asking for the surprise.
Yes.
He's finally come to the dark side, folks. He despises this shit, and then you hear him. He wasn't letting me get away without it.
I am not.
All right, sir. We're going with a military academy squad. We got one of them, so we might as well throw the other one in there. It's going to be UTSA at Army. The spread is currently UTSA -3. Road favorites.
UTSA at -3.
Yep.
And last week, What did UTSA? What did they do last week there, Mike?
I'll give you some time.
Let's see. Football, UTSA. Last week, they played Houston.
Yep.
At home.
At home, in their dome. Triple overtime, lost to Houston by 2, 37-35.
And what's the spread here, Mike?
The spread is UTSA -3 at Army.
UTSA -3 at Army. I am going to say go with the Road Runners and the 3 points. You love those academies, but we'll go back to
hold on. I love Army. I love Army as academy. Jeff Monken is that guy. Their head coach is that guy. They are going to cover. They may win this game outright. UTSA isn't prepared for Army this game. They just went to triple overtime last week against Houston, Dave. Come on, man. They're not ready. They're not ready for their knees to get cut out underneath them. They're not ready for the option play.
All right, so do we need to call this a Gator Dave lock?
Black Knights, baby,
what,
Army.
Mikey?
You can call it. You can call it whatever you want to, Gator Dave, but it's a showdown. I can tell you that.
Showdown game, baby. I'm taking those Road Runners.
Yeah. Black Knights are gonna get it done at home. You gotta go with the country, Dave. Come on, you're going against them in one of them. You gotta stand for them in another. Come on.
But I'm gonna go with my gut here, and my gut says go with the Runners.
That's fair.
Go with the Road Runners.
That's fair. They're not going to be ready for those conditions, though. It's going to be hot in New York. It's going to be hot. It's going to be 90 degrees.
Oh, I bet it won't be over 80.
You know what? What do you want? What do you want to bet? I'll pull up the weather right now. Look, West Point, New York.
It's already cooling down.
West Point, New York on Saturday, high of 86.
Okay, 86. Whew, shoot.
Hey, UTSA practices indoors. They got a dome. I'm just saying. It's a lot of running.
It's Texas, my friend.
That's a lot of running.
San Antonio.
It's a lot of running.
Hot as Hades, my friend.
These service academy men are built for this. They got it.
Dave Lock.
Yeah.
UTSA over Army.
Lock in a surprise game. Bold.
There it is.
Bold decision. Anything else you want to give to the people before we sign off for the week, sir?
You're just a homer for Army, bro.
Homer for Army.
Oh man.
Don't let me down, Army.
I'm there's a few exciting games this week. Hopefully you guys can make some pocket money off of our expectations if you choose to do that legally. But I can't wait for next week when we really start digging in. And it's going to be tough to decide the 12 or 14 games that we talk about next week. So, again, for the most part, a lot of, play-in games again this week. But, definitely excited for what's going on and, excited for my Florida Gators. We'll see how we do. I'm very conservative, so I'm not I don't want to get too pumped up just yet. So it'll be nice if we can win and have 2 good wins under our belt and go into next week and let some young kids get some time next week before we then have to play those Tennessee Vols up at Rocky Top. So
right on. Same thing. I'm really looking forward to getting to next week. We got to get through this week first, but I'm really excited to see my squad, especially next week. Something to look out for. A game that we did not talk about this week is Michigan and Hawaii. Michigan is starting their guy J.J. McCarthy, who's super highly touted recruit. They're on Harbaugh's ass about getting him playing time because they don't want him to transfer out of there. Cade McNamara got the start in game 1. JJ is getting the start here in game 2 against Hawaii. Vandy put up 60 on Hawaii in Hawaii. So I mean, Michigan could have put up 70 in this game, to be honest.
That's true.
They're a 50-point favorite right now. I kind of like Michigan's spread as a side note, but that's something to watch for, is how J.J. McCarthy does in that little bit of a QB competition. Other than that, yeah, I'm excited.
That's a good point. I mean, so, once they get out of this game, then Harbaugh's got to shit or get off the pot. He's got to make that decision.
Yep.
From this game, and God forbid they don't cover those 50 points, and then he's really struggling with what that decision might be. So definitely very interesting going into that game for sure.
Yep, for sure. And real quick, we had Steel City drop something in the chat that I want to just throw to you, and then we can sign off. Also, guys, for everybody that's still here, if you haven't already, please like this video. Make sure to subscribe. Drop us a comment. Throw something in the chat. It really helps us with YouTube's algorithm. It gets us out there. Really, really helps, and it's free. It would be awesome if you could do that. But real quick, Dave, Steel City threw at us. What do you think on the new 12-team playoff that's going to be coming here in a couple years?
So here are my thoughts on the 12-team playoff. So, what the reason behind the 12 teams is that
money.
If you notice, we're getting the conference champions are going to get the automatic bids. What the NCAA was concerned about was the SEC and the Big Ten, breaking off and having their own little conference, league, whatever. This is how the NCAA is now going to preserve the ACC, the Big 12, the Pac-10, because now they can say those conference champions get in. So it gives that chance for all those other leagues. And if you really think about it, I love the SEC, I love Florida, but at the same time, it really, if those two leagues were to branch off, what's left with all these other teams? And I think it gives a shot, it gives that hope and the ability for those other leagues to continue to succeed in the long run, because now they've got a game that they're gonna play for. Granted, the teams, the other 6 teams, there's a good chance they're gonna come from the Big Ten
right,
and the SEC, but just having hope keeps those conferences alive. I mean, I'm telling you, if they didn't do this as soon as they could, it would decimate those other three leagues. So
yeah,
to me, for college football as a whole, and now my speculation is my Tigers are going to probably get into one of those leagues and be in a Power 5. I think they're right on that edge right now, the next in line, so to speak.
Yeah, probably one of them.
Pardon?
Probably one of them for sure.
Yeah, so it just makes it better for all the fans. So I know it's 12 and we'll probably end up with the same damn teams and the same leagues doing well, but it gives hope and it keeps all those leagues in play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now you don't have to worry if you're not in the Big Ten or the SEC. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. I think 8 would have been a better number to start with before moving to 12, but like what you just said, it completely makes sense as to why they went straight to 12, because they do have to try to get some of those teams that, aren't in these Power 5s, or they are in the Power 5s, but they don't really get the love that some of these other guys do on a year-to-year basis. Now that the NIL, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that, because it's completely changing the landscape from not only the players being able to transfer in the transfer portals, but also just the money being distributed. to the teams in the conferences, the revenue they split, on a yearly end. SEC makes money. Teams want into the SEC, which is why you see Texas and Oklahoma going. I'm very confident that Miami, Florida State probably end up in the SEC sooner than later. I think North Carolina and Clemson will probably join them just because of the aspect they can bring, not only from an academic standpoint, but from an athletic standpoint, not only in football, but, basketball, baseball, and other sports. I think that's the move that's going to be coming soon. But going back to what we were talking about with the playoff teams, I think 12 is good. I would have liked to see 8 first because I think 12 is kind of a reach. Now you're getting into the issue of guys playing games that they really don't need to be playing. If they get in an injury, the 1 seed playing the 12 seed. Alabama playing, I don't remember who the 12 seed was last year, but, Alabama or Georgia playing one of those teams, it's a waste of time. It doesn't need to happen. If they do it on a bye week type thing, then maybe.
I think the plan.
But I think the 1 and the 12, it just does, like, from that standpoint, it doesn't make sense.
I think the top 4 get the buys.
Okay.
And they don't have to play.
Okay.
And the other cool damn thing about this is that those first round or 2 are going to be played on the home field, which, my God, playing a playoff game,
Oh, massive advantage. Massive advantage.
Amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
Awesome atmosphere, massive advantage. That would be definitely something I would love to see as far as, one of our teams playing in one, getting a home. I mean, that would just be a game that would be so much fun to go to. The energy would be awesome. Looks like we got Don throwing a couple games at us in the chat.
Central Michigan, 4.5.
Who do they play, Don? Who does Central Michigan play? Old Dominion plus 13. I mean, I'm staying away from it, but that's where I would have leaned if I was looking at that game. I think East Carolina played their Super Bowl last week against NC State, came up short. That had to hurt all week. Old Dominion's riding high after beating Va-Tech. I think Old Dominion probably covers that, but I stayed away. Central Michigan, South Alabama.
South Alabama, Central Michigan.
Personally, I'm not touching it. I don't want to give you a say one way or another on it.
I'm Central.
They still got McElwain as their head coach, right?
I think I've read high on Central Michigan. I'm pretty sure I'm high on Central Michigan, so I'm definitely going to take the 4.5 on that one in Central Michigan. So I've seen enough on Central Michigan to go there for sure.
Right on. And then looks like Maryland, is that the 49ers, is that Charlotte, Don? I'd probably lean Maryland in that play. I like Maryland's head coach. I like their QB, Tua's little brother. I think he's got them trending in the right direction. He's shown a lot of bright spots with that team over the last couple years. That's probably where I'd have to lean, but again, it's probably not one that I'm going to touch personally.
Yeah, that's a lot of points for a Maryland team. Maryland is good, and Tua's awesome, but I don't know enough about the 49ers this year to really play that one, but I'm definitely on that Central Michigan.
Yep. We did have a couple Gator Dave locks, Don. One lock that we both agreed on. Shoot, I don't remember what it was.
Memphis Tigers, baby.
Yeah, Memphis Tigers was one lock that we agreed on, and then Gator Dave had a couple as well. We love that Memphis play against Navy. We think that's butter. Again, everybody that's watching, if you could like the video, subscribe, really helps us out. Thank you for watching as well. I know we got the first game of the NFL season on right now also. As an update, I think the Bills scored. Was it? Yeah, it's 7-0. Gabriel Davis scored, and the Rams just punted, so the Bills are getting it back.
Davis, is that a running back or is that?
No, he's a wide receiver.
Oh, that would mean that my boy just got a touchdown, right?
Yep, Josh Allen. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, he's in one of my quarterbacks. So
I got you. My quarterback sucks this year for fantasy.
I was unable to get that quarterback in our league, but
yeah, it's all bad.
It's all
bad. I'm not looking forward to fantasy this year.
Oh, come on, man.
It's all bad, Dave. It's all bad. It's gonna be a rough climb this year. It's gonna be a rough climb to the top. All right. Well, anything else you want to leave us with? Anybody else in the chat have any requests? Any questions?
Gosh, I'm pumped. We have a lot of folks watching tonight. We already got nine upvotes, so that means at least 9 people have been on here giving us the thumbs up. We're gonna be on every Thursday night. Now, Mike, I haven't even told you, but next week I'm good. The week after that, I will be in Italy. Week after next.
Wow.
So, my game plan is, and we can talk later, is if there is a show, I will turn some picks in that you can roll with on the show, because I can't go a week without making picks. So
yeah, I love that.
You
get me the picks, and I'll get them on the screen for you. You'll get them mentioned. Awesome.
Unfortunately, we're going to be in Venice.
Very cool.
The day or the night of the Tennessee-Florida game. If they play at 3:30 in the afternoon, I'll be watching it at 9:30 p.m.
Nice.
If they play at 7, I'll be watching it at 1:30 a.m.
Ooh, gonna be testing your limits there a little bit.
Hey, it ain't gonna be testing. It's the Gators, baby. It's Tennessee. All right. Well, we appreciate everything, folks. Look forward to next week, and appreciate everybody liking us and watching and sticking with us, and go Gators.
That's right. Go Canes, baby. Next week's the week. Game day at Texas A&M. We got to get there. We're looking forward to it. Thanks again for everybody watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you next Thursday.
See you, Mike.
Peace out. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.